it is. You can superimpose this Dorian 234. You can just overlay that over here, and you can see they're interleaved like that. And then the Phrygian, which is 345. Yes, that actually is. Let's just grab that a second and put it over here. Okay, we can actually put that Phrygian right there. Okay, and that would be okay. There it is, the 3, and we'd want to cover this G here. So that's the way it works. All right, and if you want to just go mode to mode, there it is. Take the 3 away, take the Phrygian away, and we still have the same number integrity. So they're overlapped, but they're just rolled out here, mostly in fourths. So up in the corner over here, up in the corner here, this is the rollout: Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian, Phrygian, not Phrygian. See, I'm still counting them. If we want to count them, we got to skip one. So here we skip one, Ionian to Dorian, skip Dorian to Phrygian, that kind of thing. Skip Phrygian up to Lydian. Skip Lydian up to Mixolydian. This looks like it's working. Skip Dorian up to Aeolian. Skip Aeolian up to Locrian. Skip Lydian again back to root. So we've gone full circle. Okay, so that's how that works. So instead of the caged word, where we're skipping letters C, A, G, E, D, we're using this word C3, C4, A, G, E, D. So it's still caged. It's just that we have C3, C4. All right, and on the fretboard we start on root here. So it's root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's important to realize that not only we have a new caged circle here with these. This is the modal caged circle. This is the regular caged circle. Okay, and for the most part, wherever we start, we're just going to go around that circle, but not skipping letters now. We're going to be going caged word backwards. So here's, started in this little C. Don't worry about its upper lowercase. C, D, E, G, A, C. Okay, going clockwise, C, A, G, E, D, caged. That spells caged, this spells caged. Going the other way, starting on C, C, D, E, this is a pentatonic scale. So we have C, D minor, E minor, okay, and then we have a big E there. So we have a double E there. And then we have, so that's the big E is the E-shaped F. So it's like taking a, because we're kind of going out of the little system there. So we've got the E minor there, and then we bar it and add a major to it. So it's E, E there, and then G, and then A, and then C again in the C box. But if we start that in the A box, when we want to go up to pentatonic, we're going to go A, C, D minor, E major, E major, okay, D major, D minor, D major. So if we start on the A box, we're going to go A, C, D minor, D major, E major, G minor, okay, that kind of thing. So that's the important thing to realize about the caged circle. And now we're doing, of course, the longs, so it makes it just a little more complicated. Anyway, this is an offspring of the caged system, the modal caged system. But still, so we've got here starting in the Ionian box. Now the simplest way to look once again is in the Phrygian box, which is our key of C box. So it's C, D, E minor, E major, G, A. Okay, going backwards, that would be C, A, G, E, E, and D. Caged. It still spells cage if you know how to pick the letters out of the circle. The point is, if we go, let's say, to the G box, which is to the left, it's going to be the fifth of the modal box. You go to the left for the fifth because they're longer. Usually in guitar, if you go if you go up a string or down a string or over one extra fret, a couple of frets, you're changing fifths to fourths. So usually in caged, a C would go to, we're going to skip a letter in the word cage, so we go to C, we skip this A, and then we're going to go to a G shape here. So there's bookend isolation. Here's our C, then we have this isolation here. Over here we're going to the to the G box here. That's our lone wolf 7. That's actually part of the G box. So we've got C to G, no sharing, okay? Neighbors, stingy neighbors, but they're right next to each other. We've got the C box, and then we've got the G box here, but in the short diatonic. We have the lone wolf 7, that's part of the G box. Normally in the normal cage system. In the long cages, okay, the next box up is the fourth of the C shape, which is the E shape, because remember, the fourth of the C shape is an E-shaped F. Right. So, it's easier to look at it with C, but no matter where we start, say in the Dorian box or say the Aeolian box here, we're going to do G. This is pentatonic. We can finish the caged word here, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D, or the other way around is pentatonic, but we're going to be starting in the G box. We're going to be starting that pentatonic on a G shape, so we could just play in the key of G. Okay, so we got G, we got an A minor, second right there, G, A, because we're going back up. All right, so it's very important to understand when we start on the G shape and we go up a pentatonic scale, we're using the cage system, just using the word backwards. So it's G to A to C, okay, to C major, to C major. Now we're doing, each note is a shape, so we're staying on the C note, to D major 5th, to E minor 6th, to E, we'll say E reduced for the E down 1 scale step for the Locrian 7th, and then to G again. Okay, so we pretty much started G. Okay, pentatonic scale, key of C starting from a G. That's the most important thing you can know about these modal circles. So in the G box here we've got a G shaped going to an E shape here, and then we have a minor shape going to an A minor, a G minor shape D minor. Then we have a half of a C minor shape going to an A minor shape. We're going to do a C minor 7th, okay, third of G minor, B minor 7th, or we're going to do an A minor 7th, A minor shape, B minor. Then we're going to do a C C-shaped fourth, the fourth a G to an A-shaped fourth, then a D-shaped fifth. Okay, we also have a C-shaped fifth if we bar it. Within that same fifth is 2, 5, 7. Within the same cage, 2, 5, 7. For the sixth, we have the E minor, E-shaped, and then we go into a D minor a D minor shaped E minor. Okay, and now let's look down at the just drop that 5 root 3, one of them down a scale member. So it's 5 goes to 4, root goes to 7, 3 goes to 2, and we have this kind of funny shape thing. So we started here,